Hi, everyone. This is Brandon Mablio, Senior Director of Product Marketing here at Datasite. I have with me today Meg Taylor, Associate at Moelis, and we are here to chat on the very exciting topic of women in deal making. So Meg, I'm just going to hand it over to you real quick. Would you like to provide maybe a bit of an intro and background on yourself and how you got interested and into investment banking?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi everyone. Like Brandon said, my name is Meg Taylor. I'm an associate at Moelis in the life sciences team, so covering pharma and biotech. I would say I decided on investment banking as my career path, probably on the later end of the spectrum. My goal when I was first looking for a job was to find a role that could really bridge my interests in both science and business. And my first kind of real summer internship was in accounting, and I think it provided me a really good base, a tool set. And, at the end of the summer, I ultimately decided I wanted to find a role where it was more important to understand and dive into particular businesses as a whole versus just kind of understanding the historical financials. So from there, I began networking, and I was lucky enough to find a mentor and now long-term friend who was able to show me, the possibilities that come out of a role in investment banking, and also who was able to see my potential. And, from my first internship in banking through today, I've been here now for 3 years. I've been hooked on kind of the dynamic and fast-paced environment, the constant learning, and just generally working across so many intelligent people.
Yeah, and it's a good point. It's not too uncommon for someone to start in either an internship or a full-time job where they then learn some skills that end up transitioning well into investment banking. So yeah, it's a really good point, Meg. And then in terms of, I guess, do you have any other advice for, say, other women that are interested in getting into investment banking?
Yeah, I'd say there are kind of two pieces of advice that I'd give. One, I think, is really important to find a firm that you click with. It's important to find somewhere where you feel comfortable, you find people that you can look up to, you feel valued by the people that you work with. And this sort of leads me into my next point. Be confident in your ability. I think, speaking from personal experience, I found it difficult to gather the confidence to speak up in the beginning, or step into a conversation that I wasn't 100% sure of what I wanted to say, which I found sometimes was exacerbated by being one of the only females in the room. And so tying that back to my earlier point, I know it's not always easy to determine, the feel of a firm while you're recruiting, but definitely, thinking through that lens of how am I going to surround myself with people that I feel confident with, comfortable with, and people that are going to push you to the next step of your career, of your growth pathway. I think that's really instrumental for success.
Interesting. And so far, have you seen the industry change at all for women? And then part two of the question, you'd already sort of alluded to having a mentor very early on in the process, which really helped you think through how you wanted to shape your career. Do you have any mentors now, whether it's someone the same or different, male or female?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll take the first part of the question first. Have I seen the industry change for women? I would say, not that I've been in the industry for a super long time, but I think there are more and more examples of female-owned firms and more female representation in leadership, and that's particularly highlighted in certain industries. And I would say banking, there's probably a lag on that spectrum, but the clients are setting the tone and demanding that there's diversity on the banking teams that are covering them. And I think that's translated also to our recruiting efforts. Like now more than ever, there is a focus on finding capable females to join the ranks. And for me, it's been really nice to see.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, right? In terms of clients almost holding their advisors accountable for making sure that they're working with, a diverse set of talent and that there's different expertise and point of view associated with that. And yeah, I guess, and in terms of the second part of the question, any sort of mentors that you have now, male or female?
Yeah, I'd say I have two notable kind of senior mentors. One is male and one is female. One is in the group that I work for, and one doesn't actually work at Moelis. She works at a different firm. And both have, been able to provide me unique and solid advice on both like the day-to-day of my job and also navigating internal development and growth opportunities.
Gotcha. And with that said, just dovetailing off that, any specific networking groups you're a part of, or any that you would recommend, whether it's a women networking group or something else that's of interest to you?
Yeah, I'm personally not part of any networking groups, but I don't think I wouldn't say that they're not helpful for getting your foot in the door, finding a mentor that you click with. I guess just further on the topic of mentors, I think it's important to make a point to find a mentor that you click with organically, and can connect with beyond the day-to-day work.
And then finally, just to cap it off, any last, I guess, career lessons or advice, I guess, to those listening in terms of beginning their career or pursuing the next step of their career?
Yeah, I think there are three pieces of advice that I'd like to give, and I wish were shared with me when I started banking. I would say the first one is don't doubt your abilities. You are a 1% type candidate, and it's important to remember that you have earned your position just as much as the guy sitting next to you in training. Number two, don't be afraid to be your authentic self. If you're likable, if you're approachable, if you're hardworking, it's a lot harder to criticize, and people are way more willing to teach you. And then third, I think your team and your peers are incredibly important to your banking experience. Finding bosses that value your personal development and that you look up to, in addition to finding champions within your team to advocate you, it is super important.
Awesome. Great. Well, Meg, thanks again for spending time with us to chat on this is obviously a very important topic, and for everyone on the phone listening. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.